Hey there, Eric Chesson, founder of Autism Fitness, leading the movement for movement here. And can you believe this is, unless you're watching this months and months later, at which point, the timeline changes a little bit and then it doesn't matter all that much. But anyway, the point is that this is the last Tuesday training video of 2022 as we head into 2023. If you, as a fitness professional, as a therapist, an OT, PT, BCBA, rec therapist, as a speech pathologist, you as a parent, you or anybody you know who is working with, caring for, providing programming with the autism and neuroadaptive population, if you want to make 2023, even if it's already midway into 2023, if you want to make this your and your athletes' years to start integrating fitness programs, adapted PE programs, movement programs that actually work, that are meaningful, that develop skills that will translate and generalize to activities of daily living, then look no further to the Autism Fitness Certification. And in 2023, of course, both virtual and in-person practicals are available. Go to the link in the description below. You can register and begin your coursework almost immediately. I say almost immediately because then you'll get an email. It'll give you the link to get into the course. So not quite immediately, but as close as the internet can provide to immediate. Anyway, in this last Tuesday training of 2022, I wanted to talk a little bit about why it's so important to have a hierarchy of prompting or cueing for our athletes, because many of our neurodivergent athletes are going to run into an obstacle with motor planning and motor imitation, being able to follow our lead. And we need to know when it is appropriate to intensify or increase our level of prompting, because what is our ultimate goal? Well, since you're not right here to discuss it with me, the ultimate goal is to develop skills, meaning strength, stability, motor planning, and movement sequences that actually look good, that are performed with the greatest amount of efficiency and effectiveness and limited amounts of extraneous movement or compensatory movement patterns. That being the case, we want to get to the point where the movement is good, but in order to do that, sometimes we have to provide either a mirror prompt or a physical prompt, because the movement is not just going to get better, use that in air quotes, get better by itself. So I wanted to show you this video right here, one of my athletes. This guy is normally a great motor imitator. One of the most important things to keep in mind, and this is the reason why I don't like generalities, because when we talk about, oh, high functioning versus low functioning, which doesn't really exist, this is why there are different diagnostic levels, or we talk about oh, they're a really advanced athlete, or they're really, well, we look at it exercise by exercise. So we have an athlete, this guy, you've probably seen him squat before, overhead presses look great, standing band rows are fantastic. We're doing this overhead press, or this, rather, I'll back it up. We're doing this overhead band press, which is one of my favorite warm-up exercises for getting some shoulder mobility, a little bit of a pec stretch there, and also activating the shoulders and upper back in a way where we have to maintain tension, which, if you've ever utilized this exercise with any of your autism or neurodiverse athletes, you know how difficult it is for them to maintain tension in that band. Very, very difficult for a lot of athletes on the autism spectrum, which makes it a good assessment exercise as well. We utilize it in the PAC profile. So you can see here, watch this motor imitation with this press. So you can notice a couple things when he brings it down. So that right elbow, much lower than that left elbow. And the idea here is to have bilateral symmetry. So here he's having some difficulty with it. He's also, one of the funny things here is, for those of you who don't know, I've sustained a shoulder injury that I've been rehabbing. He's also following my motor imitation, not exactly, but he's seeing that my left arm is going up higher than my right arm. So that might also complicate things. You see there a little bit better, but then bringing it back down. Now he's really trying But when we talk about kinesthetic awareness, see, this is where kinesthetic awareness, where we can really see it so that we can talk about it. His understanding of where his body is right now is very interesting. Like, is there bilateral symmetry? Are those elbows and shoulders even right now? So there he almost has it. So you see, this is a process for him. And now we're going into that overhead band walk. You can see now bilateral symmetry. The elbows are both extended. You have that full shoulder extension. You have tension on the band. This is good, 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 good. When we bring it back here to just that overhead press, right? Still something to work on too. So if I were just explaining this to him, it would have very limited effectiveness. Just, oh, stretch your arms up. Oh, keep getting your arms up. If he's not following, if your athlete is not following, then it is not going to be an effective way to coach and cue our athletes. So if one or two verbal prompts don't work, which typically they don't, then we use a motor imitation, or we use a mirroring prompt for our athlete. If that works, wondrous. Then we can figure out how to fade that back initially or eventually. We fade that back eventually so that our athlete can become independent. However, if that mirror prompt is not working, then we're going to have to figure out what is the next or what is the next level or more intensive prompt that we can provide, which is going to be physical guidance, maybe a light prompt from the elbows there as well to guide the athlete through the exercise. Because ultimately, it's not, well, they're kind of getting it, so it's okay. That's not okay. We want them to fulfill on getting the most out of that exercise, and that means performing it properly. Performing it properly is sometimes going to be bolstered by us providing that cue or providing that prompt. Now, of course, we want consent or implied consent from the athlete whenever we're using some type of physical guidance. We're also being as gentle as we can. Sometimes that is necessary with an athlete in order for them to get the motor pattern. Now, again, how do we get an athlete to learn an exercise? Well, we start off with where they're at right now, which is one of the fundamental mantras of autism fitness, starting where the athlete is at right now, because that allows us to coach and cue effectively. So you can see in this case, we have an athlete who is motivated and he's focused. At the same time, that kinesthetic awareness, or his ability to identify where his arms, shoulders need to be, needs a little more guidance, a little more coaching. All right. So that is the final Tuesday training of 2022. That's a lot of T words right there. If you are ready, or if you know someone who is ready to become an Autism Fitness Certified Pro and serve the neuroadaptive and autism populations in the finest way possible, which is bringing them fitness, the more and more research and the more and more validation we see about how critical fitness is for any population, including the autism and neuroadaptive population, the less we can ignore this over time. If we're looking for highest level quality of life at any age level, then fitness needs to be included in that conversation, and you want to be able to do it right. And that's why you start right here. So Autism Fitness founder Eric Chesson here, continuing to lead the movement for movement into 2023. Have a safe, fun, relaxing, whatever else, great adjective in here, new year. And I will see you in 2023, which is going to be next week anyhow.